watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, major renovations underway at the government clinic on Bimini. Plus, police are investigating an alleged drowning incident on Bimini that left one man dead. And a mother seeks answers regarding her deceased son's body. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news tonight, the Minister of Health and Wellness announcing that renovations to Baileytown's clinic on the island of Bimini will soon begin, bringing much needed improvements to the healthcare facility. Here's that report.
For the residents of Bimini, we have been working for the last 3 months, and we have finalized the funding necessary to do major repairs at the clinic.
Plans are underway to address the urgent need for remedial work at Baileytown Clinic. The facility has been in a state of disrepair, with recent adverse weather exacerbating the conditions. This has been a cause of concern for the local community who rely on the clinic for essential healthcare services. However, with the news of upcoming renovations, Biminites can breathe a sigh of relief, knowing that their healthcare needs will soon be better met.
I was in Bimini in August last year, and we started the process, but the weather or the hurricane or tropical depression that came through created some additional damage. And so we reevaluated the contract to ensure that all of the remedial work that is associated with the roof was included.
With repairs set to commence, Biminites can look forward to improved healthcare services.
The contract will be awarded next week. And once that contract is awarded, the contractor will come and start the necessary repairs.
The first cohort of emergency medical technicians have recently graduated from the PHA Academy. This exciting development means that additional staff will soon be available to support healthcare services on the island of Bimini.
That's very important for us because one of the things that's in our mandate is to ensure that we improve emergency medical situations on the ground so that our ground transportation can be as good as our air transportation, and finally in the position where our loved ones on the family island are not placed on back of trucks waiting for the air ambulance to arrive.
The Minister of Health and Wellness says the government is committed to providing top quality emergency medical services to family islanders.
And that's something that we promise to deliver throughout the family islands, and we're going to start with the renovations here in Bimini with the awarding of the contract before the end of this week.
Still in news from Bimini, police officers on that northern island are investigating an alleged drowning of a 51-year-old man of South Korea. Assistant Superintendent of Police Stephen Roll tells us that the incident occurred shortly after 1 p.m. today.
This incident reportedly occurred on Wednesday, the 29th of March, 2023. Our preliminary reports reveal that shortly after 1 p.m., police received information that a male, who was a passenger on the cruise ship, was found unresponsive on Lighthouse Beach, located Ocean Key, Bimini, Bahamas. He was retrieved from waters by bystanders. Subsequently, the victim was transported back to the ship via a private vehicle or vessel, where he was seen and examined by the ship's doctor, who found no vital signs of life.
Still in news from the crime beat, police on Bimini have arrested a 35-year-old man of Baileytown, Bimini, in connection with possession of dangerous drugs on Monday, March 27, 2023. Reports indicate that shortly before 5 p.m., officers attached to the Alistown Police Station conducted patrols in the area of Queens Highway. There, they observed a blue Honda vehicle driving at a high rate of speed. Officers intercepted the vehicle and conducted a search. A quantity of suspected marijuana was discovered and subsequently confiscated. The suspected marijuana weighed 1 ounce, which is valued at $60. Well, police in Grand Bahama are investigating a stabbing incident which has left a 46-year-old man of Pinedale 8 Mile Rock in hospital. The incident reportedly took place yesterday, Tuesday, March 28, 2023. Reports revealed that it was shortly after 5 p.m. when police received information that while at a business establishment in Pinders Point, when the man was stabbed about the body, which resulted in serious injuries. The victim was rushed to the Rand Memorial Hospital, where he is listed in stable condition. Well, in other news, tonight a grieving mother is still seeking answers for the state of her son's body when it was released to a local funeral home. Here's Simone Davis with that update.
It's been about a month since Bianca Wilkinson publicly demanded answers for the condition of her son's body after he passed away at the Rand Memorial Hospital back in December. She claims that when his body was released to the funeral home, she was alerted by the mortician that skin was missing from large parts of his body. Our ZNS News team has been investigating the incident and questioned the Minister of Health on the matter earlier this week.
I was watching the news last night and I saw where the Minister of Health had mentioned they were still investigating the fact of the bodies and the condition of the hospital.
However, Bianca says as the days go by, she is left with more questions than answers.
My thing is, if the body was properly stored, then what is it that you guys investigating? How come I still have not got any answers or any response as yet to say what is going on?
She says even if there was an accident at the hospital, she would understand and be able to properly mourn his death.
I just want to know the truth. Like, I want to know why my son's body was like that. We all are humans. We all make a mistake. Just say what happened. Say what it is. Whatever it is. So we all can move on from this. Like, it's not fair. It's not fair. That was my only child. It's not fair.
The grieving mother says since her son's passing, she is left alone trying to live a normal life, adding that although he's already dead, some answers will bring her closure.
I just want to know the truth, and that would be my closure.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Simone Davis.
Now, our news team also contacted the hospital's administrator, who confirms that they received information about the case and the matter is currently under active investigation. Switching gears now, comments made by the president of the Bahamas Union of Teachers about the inclusion of transgenderism education in the school curriculum has sparked a heated debate in the Bahamas. Many have voiced their disagreement with the proposal, and tonight a former educator and union member has joined the conversation to strongly oppose the idea. President of the Bahamas Union of Teachers, Belinda Wilson, stating during a Rotary Club meeting at the nation's capital last week that it would be wise for a component of transgender various different family compositions to be included in schools. She said it needs to be addressed, not addressed in a manner of pushing an agenda or taking a side or position, but students need to be aware of what is happening in that vein because we are preparing them for the world. To those remarks, former educator Quentin LaRota says,
that ain't gonna happen. Leave these children alone. Go from here with that.
He argues that parents are already tasked with the responsibility of monitoring their children's access to inappropriate content on the internet and television, and that the school system should not make it harder for them.
And even those amongst us who would be of a different lifestyle, they themselves see that when it comes to the children, there's a line that you don't cross. Right? Children are aware of these things, like I said, because of the interconnectivity of the globe. But it's the parents who should decide to educate their children and to give them moral acceptance or rejection of these lifestyles. I don't think teachers want that in their hands.
He believes that resources and efforts should be directed towards addressing the current challenges faced by the education system.
Let's stay focused on what we're doing now in education. And let's see how we can enhance getting the kids back on track after the hurricanes and the pandemic, seeing how we could improve their scholarships, seeing how we could improve their reading and writing and mathematics, seeing how we can improve their graduation rate. And if we're going to introduce anything, we should look at things like teaching and productivity, teaching on work ethic.
The science of sexuality is currently covered in the school's curriculum, and he believes that parents have the right to decide what values and beliefs they wish to instill in their children, and that the school system should not impose controversial topics such as transgenderism. Well, the Bahamas Educators and Allied Workers Union formed in October of 2020, and in April of 2022, they became the bargaining agents for Grand Bahama, Bimini, and the Keys. Continuing in their efforts of trade unionism, BECAWU's president, Sandra Major, is announcing that they have signed their first registered industrial agreement.
So it's with pleasure that we stand here today to say we have come a mighty long way in such a short time. Because of our registered industrial agreement, teachers, all teachers, will now benefit. On the principal section of the Industrial Relations Act, workers that do the same job in the same field must be treated the same. So because we at BECAWU, who are the change makers, have now a registered agreement, all the teachers will now benefit.
She also shares some of the benefits of this agreement.
Some of the benefits that we would have received, of course, was an increase in salary for the next 3 years. We got double increments this year, 1 next year, and 2 the last year. We also got an increase in our allowances. It went from $750 to $1,500 for things in academics and the arts. Also, we got an increase in the rental allowance, and we also increased the benefits for the retention bonus. And the retention bonus is continuous. Every 5 years, you can apply for the retention bonus.
You're watching The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Stay with us. There's more news when we come back.
Sale you've been waiting for is happening March 31st and April 1st at Dolly Madison. This is your opportunity to fill your home with the latest and greatest appliances and accessories at prices that won't break the bank. Get 10% off on all appliances and 15% off in all other departments. This Friday and Saturday is your chance to make your home a haven of comfort and style at Dolly Madison's store-wide Easter sale.
Women of Grand Bahama, take control of your health and wellness. Join Let's Talk Women's Group on April 1st at the Old Bahama Bay Hotel. Guest speakers, informative seminars, and more. Call 441-6311 for info. See you there.
We all need to save time, gas, and money. Shopping at Save More can help you do just that. Make us your first stop for all your prescription needs and medical supplies. Get all your health and beauty items at the same time. And don't miss our huge choice of snacks to satisfy your cravings. And the largest vitamin selection and over-the-counter relief products. Need diapers and other baby care items? First stop. The new section for makeovers, cosmetics, and beautiful jewelry will make you sparkle for that next special event. Save More Drugs, your more store.
The King of the North is back. Howard 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. TikTok is a personalized video feeder that displays fun videos, movie scenes, music, and more. It has become one of the biggest streaming platforms for channels in recent years. However, school districts around the world are now questioning the impact of the app on young people's mental health. Tonight, a content creator and guidance counselor is weighing in.
Ramon Dames, publicly known as Shaky, is becoming a powerhouse on TikTok. He is popular for his tricks and trades when it comes to shooting hoops on the court, and he says he uses a digital platform to promote positive content.
You know, it's more geared toward for the kids and just helping the kids with their skill in the game of basketball. Basketball is a great tool to use for the young kids because at the end of the day, it takes them from doing a lot of negative stuff after school. Also, it helps build friendships among their peers. You know, it's a team sport. So you could be playing with a kid who you don't like in class, but you have to be able to gel with them on the court. So while you're on the court, you build that relationship, that bond, and off the court, you know, it never goes away. You're like friends or teammates, you know, basically for life.
He says the videos is a true representation of his personality and skills, which as a result grew his followings. However, he notes social media has its effects, which plays a role in the kids' development.
It's very important to promote positivity because, for one, social media can be a bad thing. You know, you have online bullying, you have a lot of predators online, you have a lot of dangerous challenges these kids do nowadays online. So it's very important to promote the positive so the kids can somewhat, you know, leave the negative alone from social media and focus on just the positive. So that's what I'm trying to do.
During an interview with Freeport Primary Guidance Counselor Shireen Saint, who was also weighing in on the issue, says that children that use the app should have parental control. She furthers that content creators like Shaky make a difference, but there are others that can wreak havoc.
You put a device in the hand of your child, you're putting everything in their hands. You're putting the good, the bad, and that will be something that influences their life from their small into adulthood.
The guidance counselor explains that self-control has to be the biggest factor because the reels can affect the child's self-esteem and identity.
The thing about TikTok is you may be on a positive reel and then a negative one comes up, or content comes up that exposes your child to something that you don't want them to be exposed to at their young age. And that's the downfall to TikTok in particular.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Julanda Thompson Everest.
Well, this past weekend, the City of Freeport Council attended the local government gala banquet in New Providence, gathering district councils and local government representatives from all over the country. The honorary service awarding many for their work in community service and highlighting those special persons making a difference on their islands. Good news for the island of Grand Bahama, as Yolanda Thompson Everest tells us that Grand Bahama took the district award.
The councilors from the city of the Freeport City Council are still in celebratory mode after a weekend-long celebration at Bahama in New Providence. The council took home the most outstanding district award, surpassing 32 local government districts in the country. The recognition and honor was primarily based on proficiency, commitment, and community outreach. Family Island Administrator Kenrick Cartwright speaking on the proud moment.
They decided to award those that had an average rating of 70%. That would be inclusive of reports that have been submitted throughout the year, projects that were done, partnerships that were developed, as well as, you know, just how the council itself functions and works together as a team to handle different situations inside the local communities.
Chief Councilor Fraser Gibson exclaims they did anticipate the win, coming out on top and tying with Exuma.
We expected that, and we will continue to follow in that trend. We have established numerous initiatives, and we will continue to be the front runner in initiatives and community development within the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Gibson goes on to share some of those projects that made an impact in their win to victory.
Some of those initiatives that we have ongoing presently is the GED program, the Second Chance program with Tarif College. And so we have young persons who are obtaining their diplomas, who was unsuccessful in graduating from high school. The other initiatives that we have that are ongoing and will be coming up will be our special needs camp that will be coming up with our autistic children, and we love that camp. That is very special to us because there's no other camp that accept children that have special needs. We have our Learn to Swim camp that will be coming up. We have our community centers that have reopened. We're still awaiting the renovation to be completed with the Susan J., which is our flagship community center. And we have numerous other projects, and one in particular that we have coming up, but we're not going to announce it too soon.
Gibson says the council operates as one team with one agenda, and that's why she believes they were successful in winning the award. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Julanda Thompson Everest.
Well, Hurricane Dorian devastated the eastern end of the island, and over the past 3 years, there has been a valiant effort by the government of the Bahamas, private organizations, and residents to restore the area to some type of normalcy. Among those groups working to rebuild those communities, the High Rock Local Government Council. Now, as a part of activities held to be observed during Local Government Month, a town meeting was held in East Grand Bahama where residents had an opportunity to voice their concerns. Chief Counselor for East Grand Bahama, Marcus Cooper, provided the district report.
I'm pleased to report that through efforts of the administrator, Mr. Gilbert Camp, and the district council in partnership and collaboration with Minister Ginger Moxie, the Ministry of Grand Bahama, which also include beautiful Grand Bahama, and other government agencies, there have been focused attention and some progress as it relates to the restoration and community-based project in East Grand Bahama.
Also addressing the town meeting, administrator for East Grand Bahama, Gilbert Kemp, who praised residents for their community spirit.
What I admire so far from the people who live in East Grand Bahama is the way you work together and that you're so community-minded. Pastor, I'm sorry I wasn't to the computer opening the other day. You don't hardly see that anymore around the islands. People waiting for government to buy computers, set up a place, but you and your congregation and your wife, you did it.
Well, the best way to learn about our country's history is to sit and talk with those who was around to live through many eras. As we prepare to celebrate the country's 50th independence, we spoke to several prominent figures from the West End community to learn about the history of West Grand Bahama and the people who played a major role in our first independence. Tonight, we feature businessman and West End native, Artis Neely.
There's a great difference from West End then and West End today.
West End native and businessman Artis Neely reflecting on life growing up in West End, which he remembers as the business capital for the entire island of Grand Bahama.
When I grew up as a little boy in West End, there was more than 40 stores on the main road in West End. I'm talking about liquor stores, drug store, grocery stores, any type of store you can name. They were like maybe 100 feet apart. And there was a tremendous amount of activity. The center for the mailboat services was in West End. The insurance companies operated out of West End. My mother did that.
Neely comes from a family of businessmen and businesswomen who owned several operations in the West End community. However, he says when he became an adult, he moved to Freeport in 1965 to try his hand in business in the city. After some years of success and obstacles, Neely moved back to West End during a time where the community was #1 in the hotel industry.
First, it was Butlin's Vacation Village for about 3 years, from about 49 to 52. And then that changed to the Grand Bahama Hotel. And that operated until 1958. And then Jack Tar Chain bought it in 1958. And they operated a very strong business there until 1976, you see. So West End was very, very active, very active.
Today, Neely resides in Freeport, but his legacy is being carried on in West End through his sons, Kirk and Ramal, who are business owners in the West End community. Neely says while he is proud of his children, he knows that they would have had challenges doing business in Freeport because of his political history. But as for his hope for the country moving forward,
I pray every day that at some point the Lord could convince the masses of the people in our communities to remember Christ and to think about loving one another as opposed to fighting and killing each other. And maybe if we can do that, we'll have a better world.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Simone Davis.
Be sure to join us every day this week from 2 to 4 p.m. as we speak with residents and prominent figures on the journey toward the country's 50th independence on the show titled Till the Road We Trod. Shane Stubbs is up next with your check on sports.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another edition of Sports. Guess what? The Carifta team was officially ratified. Let's take a look at who made it.
15 athletes from Grand Bahama were named to the 80-member Carifta team that is scheduled to compete April 7th through the 10th at the National Stadium over the Easter holiday weekend. Erin Barr will compete in the under-17 girls 1,500 meters. Zaya Henfield will run the under-17 boys 800. Zion Shepherd will compete in the under-17 boys 400 and 4x4. Tyrone Conliff will compete in the 800 meters. Joshua Williams, who set a national record on the weekend, will compete in the under-17 boys high jump along with Erish Pratt. And Giovanna Bridgewater will have relay duties. The under-20 girls will see Treasure Burrows, Shatalia Dorset, Kaylee Pratt, Akeya Lightbourne, and LaCarthia Cooper. And the under-20 boys will feature Zion Campbell in the sprints, while Mateo Smith and Laquan Ellis will compete in the long jump and triple jump. Also making the team from Morris Island in the under-20 girls group is Quincy Penn for the relays. Over in the pool, Layla Lewis will compete in the 13-14 age group for Team Bahamas at the upcoming Carifta Swim Championships set to take place in Curacao, April 6th through the 12th.
I'm super excited that I made the team, but when I went to last chance, I didn't really drop that much of a time, so I plan to drop some time when I go to Curacao. My highest expectation is medal, but if I don't, I at least want to be right in the 5 and 6 or the top 10 at least, because I'm the youngest in the group because I just moved up. In a day of practice, we'd usually do a 300 warm up, then a kick drill set, and then we'll probably do an IM set where we work through each and every stroke. Last year, I didn't really fancy the food that much, and a swimmer knows that you need food for energy. So this year when I go to Curacao, I plan to eat the food.
And finally in sports, be sure to tune in on Friday to find out who will be the Athlete of the Month for March. This month's nominees are Tabernacle's Erin Barr, Sunland's Shatalia Dorset, and 8 Mile Rock's Skylar Curry.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's your update in sports this evening. I'm Shane Stubbs. Be safe and be great.
Hi, I would like to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Let us put shoes on your feet.
John West Shoes is now open. Carmichael West, Nassau, behind Wendy's.
It's the coconut got this, cocoa skin dripping madness, juiciness ice the back this, sweet like sugar in a dripping like ice honey, I think all of my love me, sweet like sugar in a watch it go ba ba ba, 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 sweet like sugar in a
New Click Platinum flavor. Flavored beers with a kick of rum. Make it platinum. The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Lindrika Scott, you are our Facebook friend of the day. We also want to wish you a special happy birthday. I hope that you enjoyed it, Dreeky. And that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. On behalf of the entire news team here in the North, I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to stay tuned as the Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, the government and Haitian community meet. Popular pancake franchise eyes opening. New SBF bill requirements proposed. And in sports, Kai's career night. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report starts now.
ZNES News is brought to you by BTC. For the fastest speeds across the Bahamas and the lowest price by far, switch to BTC today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Makushla Pinder, and this is the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for joining us. It's been 2 months now since the Prime Minister detailed his government's plan to disrupt the flow of migrants coming here and send those that are already here back home. Well, to do so, the government needs all the help it can get, and that includes leaders of the local Haitian community. Altovise Munnings joins us in studio tonight with the outcome of the government's meeting with that group last evening. Good evening, Altovise.
Good evening, Makushla, and good evening, Bahamas. According to Labor and Immigration Minister, the Honorable Keith Bell, the objective of Tuesday night's meeting with local Haitian pastors at the National Training Agency on Gladstone Road was to ensure that all stakeholders were on board with government's intention on addressing the challenges facing Haiti from a regional perspective. But more importantly, how to protect the Bahamas for Bahamians and its future generations.
They were very understanding in respect to the challenges that we have as a country, and I think that it was apparent, and they accepted that the Bahamas is unable to absorb the number of persons. Haiti is a country of 12 million people, and so they want to ensure that anyone coming to the Bahamas, and they understood that persons would have to come through here the right way, that is the legal means, and that if there are persons who come here by boat or irregular means, then there ought to be swift repatriation that was accepted by them.
Since the media wasn't allowed inside Tuesday night's private meeting, Minister Bell also informed reporters Wednesday that a number of recommendations were made, but won't be made public now. Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, however, did grant the media an interview after the late-night discussions and described the meeting as very informative.
The Haitian pastors, as you would have heard, have committed to do their part to assist in dealing with the challenges we're having. They acknowledge it. Most of them are, all of them are Bahamians, except one or two who are permanent residents of the Bahamas. And they see the Bahamas as their home, and they want to protect the home, just as we who are here, not from Bahamian Haitian descent, to protect our shores, our people, and our livelihoods.
Government engaging in due process is the Haitian pastors' main concern. That's according to the Prime Minister. The Haitian community hopes the process gets the compassion it deserves.
They acknowledge that what I said to them, that we can't deal with one problem to create another problem. And I think all they're concerned about is that due process and a humane approach is taken.
And this dialogue will continue. Prime Minister Davis also revealed that the Haitian community leaders committed to canvass Haitian communities and assist in picking out those who are here illegally and legally. Reporting in studio for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Altovise Munnings. Back to you, Makushla.
Well, thanks, Altovise. Now, the question of whether immigration officials can do more to expedite the citizenship approval process posed today to Immigration Minister, the Honorable Keith Bell, following concerns from Chief Justice Ian Winder. Bell says fact-checking is a crucial component of the process, which, for obvious reasons, cannot be rushed.
The reality is, though, for our country, where we have a very significant influx of persons into our country, not just from Haiti, not just from Cuba, not just from Jamaica, but all over the world. Persons applying for citizenship or persons who are born in the Bahamas to non-Bahamian parents. We have to ensure that immigration does its due diligence. And in many instances, the delay is not necessarily the fault of immigration alone. We have to ensure that documents which are submitted are authenticated. We have to ensure that we get birth certificates. We know that there is significant fraud. There is persons taking on the identification of other persons. We have had the cases. As a matter of fact, I have 3 cases on my desk right now.
Well, when further asked whether steps should be taken to govern who applies and when, Bell noted that responsibility lies with the applicant. However, due to a high number of illicit claims, due diligence is the order of the day.
The government cannot. I don't think it's reasonable for government to necessarily put in place a timeline. You must accept the fact that citizenship is one of the highest things that a country can bestow on an individual. We're talking about citizenship. We're not talking about something else. So it is nothing to be taken lightly. But I would think that we would want to ensure that we do our due diligence, and as Bahamians, that anyone that we would want to bestow this highest honor, we want to ensure that we would have done everything we possibly can to ensure that we're giving the right persons citizenship to our country. This is our birthright. And so we have the right to protect it at all costs. And so that is all we're doing. And we're asking for those persons who have applied. And yes, they may have an entitlement, but the reality is, the fact is, given the very large fraud, given the amount of documents that we get that we know are fraudulent, we want to ensure that we do everything and that we are satisfied that we do not circumvent any processes.
In other news, as the Bahamas inches closer to its Golden Jubilee, one thing has remained strong over the past 5 decades: its democratic traditions and institutions. But as Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis acknowledged during his virtual address today to the Summit for Democracy, no nation can afford complacency, as even long-standing democracies can be vulnerable to the erosion of key values.
It is up to all of us to ensure our democratic institutions keep pace with a broad and complex array of policy challenges. And we must not do so despite the fact that it has never been so easy for bad actors to manipulate and distort the truth, undermining the discourse essential in healthy democracies and undercutting the ability of citizens to make informed choices. We cannot ignore the insidious, corrosive effects of disinformation. At a time when all of us need to engage our citizens in debate about a dangerous new climate change era, about the promises and perils of artificial intelligence, and about how best to deliver sustainable and inclusive economic growth, we find that first we must fight our way past deliberate distortions.
Now, as the fight continues for truth and democracy, the Prime Minister reiterated the appeal for the international community for action against climate change and its impact on small island development states like the Bahamas.
Impacts intensify the pressure on borders, on food production, and on stability and security will increase too. In order to avoid the most dire outcomes, we will need to coordinate and cooperate in partnership and across borders to achieve net zero in emissions. The energy transition will inevitably be disruptive and harder or impossible to achieve unless citizens of every country can share a consensus on the underlying facts. So, let us be united in acknowledging the stakes.
Middle managers from the Broadcasting Corporation, the Bahamas Telecommunications Company, and the Central Bank will cast their vote for the next leadership of the Bahamas Communications and Public Managers Union. Voting takes place across the country between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., with the majority of the union's positions being contested. Vying for the union's presidency is veteran trade unionist and the organization's current vice president, Kendrick Knowles. His objective: to bring solidarity back to the BCPMU.
continue on the legacy that's been founded by our forefathers, by the Ricardo Thompsons, by the Talbot Colleys, by all of the former presidents of the BCPMU. But more importantly, I want to see managers really being valued for who they are. Companies make money because of us. All we're saying now is let's take that equity now and let's translate it into something that we can benefit from, not just on the job, but also out there in the business world.
Knowles also outlined some of his immediate goals should he secure the BCPMU's top post.
The union is all about solidarity. It's about the strength of people. It's about the union coming together. So one of the first things I want to do is that I want all of the 3 properties. We're going to create an opportunity and an environment where we get together regularly. All right, solidarity. We're going to sing that song again. Solidarity forever, because the union makes us strong. I want to see managers becoming stronger and better managers, better leaders, better change agents, all right? Because nothing changed until your thinking changed. So we want our managers now to improve their knowledge, their skill set, so they could change some of the things that they've been doing to become better managers and better leaders.
It's a multi-million-dollar investment, years in the making, delayed, however, by the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, in just a matter of days, IHOP Bahamas will be open here in New Providence, adding scores of jobs to the local economy. Cleopatra Murphy sat down with the local franchise owner.
Anticipation is building among staff and the public as the countdown for the opening of the IHOP franchise nears this coming Tuesday. Scores of employees have already been hired, with a number of them participating in a training session Wednesday morning. However, IHOP Bahamas President Bertrand Rogers says the hiring process is still not complete.
We don't have a final count. That's almost impossible to give you. But we have, I think, around between 105, 120 to open with. Obviously, that number will increase. So starting off, the hours will stagnate until we eventually go to 24 hours.
Rogers says he saw a market for his new venture. Not only did the country not have an IHOP, but for him, it has nostalgic significance for Bahamians.
Traveling to the U.S. On a regular basis, this is one of our stops. And like I said, I did it as a child. I did it as a parent. I did it as a teenager, as a young adult. To actually make it happen, this isn't an overnight. I should say dream. It isn't an overnight idea. It's been in the works for a very, very long time.
The restaurant will ultimately be a 24-hour operation. Rogers says he intends to move toward that as initial kinks are worked out.
In the beginning, we probably close extremely late at night, obviously. I don't know exactly what time we're going to work that out to be. But yeah, you can come and have some pancakes at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock.
Despite the delay from the initial opening date, the entrepreneur believes the public will be pleased with the end result and the familial atmosphere.
I'm really, really, really proud of the staff they've hired so far. So I think you're going to get a great product. I mean, and there with us, obviously, in anything that is new, there's going to be hiccups. So all of our hiccups, that's the reason why, you got to open, you got to go through these hiccups in the beginning of any new business.
Rogers' plans for IHOP is not done yet. Once this mall at Marathon location is officially opened, he plans on opening at least another 2 locations within the next year. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
Meantime, another public-private partnership launched between the Department of Labor and 2 community organizations. Today, the announcement made to coordinate a job readiness seminar and job fair in the Freetown constituency aimed at creating new employment opportunities for residents and other job seekers. Labor Minister the Honourable Keith Bell, along with Freetown Member of Parliament the Honourable Wayne Munro, making that announcement from the department's Rosetta Street office.
This job fair, although being held in the Freetown community, is also expected to attract citizens from other surrounding communities and will bring scores of employers that are seeking to hire job seekers to fill vacant positions in their respective businesses.
The Department of Labor isn't only simply putting on this event, but is offering help to prepare people to prepare for the event. There's going to be a seminar tomorrow at the Department of Labor's office here, so that persons, if you have questions, if you want to be prepared, can come and seek guidance.
Now, organizers say while there's in excess of 65,000 applications in the Labor Department's unemployment pool, the focus is to empower each job seeker on the ins and outs of a successful interview with an end goal of landing the right job.
We go with our heart for the community, for the seniors, for the seniors, for the young adults within the Freetown area. We just want them to let them know that we are there for them.
Pilgrim is not there just spiritually, but we want to help the social needs of the people. And so we were glad to open our church's doors for this great initiative.
We tailored interview questions, you know, for job seekers and say, okay, if you were faced with this, if you were asked this question, this is how you respond. These are some of the answers that the employers themselves are looking for. Something as simple as tell me a little bit about yourself. You know, people go into this history of I'm a 5 siblings. That's not what the employer wants to hear. Or I like to sing. That is not something the employer wants to hear. They want to hear, if they say tell me something about yourself, they want you to speak to your skills, to your training, to your education.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news in a moment.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
You have enough things to worry about. Living in a world that can seem opposite of the things you are trying to accomplish.
I can need a little help with this.
We're here to let you know that you don't have to go at it alone. Choose peace of mind. Choose comfort. Choose CB. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Are you overpaying for low speeds with your internet provider? Stop wasting your money. Switch to BTC for the fastest internet to the most homes in the Bahamas. Get up to 300 megs fiber fast speeds, up to 3 times faster than what you get now. Plus, get 164 TV channels, all for just $42.50 a month for 12 months. That means you'll save $860 for the year. For the fastest speeds across the Bahamas and the lowest price by far, BTC is for you. Switch to the largest fiber network in the Bahamas.
Original or hot and spicy?
They call me the original, I'm cooked the hard way. No corners cut to live life, the fried way. 11 herbs and spices, that's all I can say.
If you wanna take a bite, I'm just a little tanky, but a whole lot of feisty. Yeah, I'm the chick with the trick, they call me hot and spicy. There's no winning flavor, they're all finger-licking good.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home health care supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Bahamians are rediscovering Grand Bahama through immersive staycation experiences at Lighthouse Point Grand Lucaya. Pamper yourself at our Senses Spa or savor exotic cocktails by the sea. Unwind and enjoy serenity, 18 holes of golf, fine dining, romance, business conventions and meetings, grand outdoor events. For Bahamas resident rates at Lighthouse Point, call 242-373-1333 or WhatsApp message 827-8195.
This segment of the news is brought to you by RBC. Discover mortgage ideas shaped around you. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/home story to start your story today.
Efforts to reduce crime, revoke bail, provide more resources for officers, and implement new programs to better tackle the root cause of crimes among young people. Just some of the key points discussed during a lecture series on a national security policy last evening. LaDon Davis has the details in this next report.
As the country continues to grapple with an increase in violent crimes, particularly involving young men, National Security Minister the Honorable Wayne Monroe says there's an outcry for drastic action to carry out capital punishment, increase sentences, and remand without bail for those charged with serious offenses and without exception.
40% of the murders committed last year appears to be evidence of capital punishment being executed on the streets without trial, without due process, and without appeals. Yet young men continue to join the street gangs, seemingly undeterred by an almost promise of death on the street.
Digging deeper into the national security policy, Monroe emphasized that prevention, detection, trial, rehabilitation, and increasing manpower and resources are vital components to maintaining law and order, thereby creating safer communities. Additionally, he says investing in more intervention programs will cut at the root of crimes.
We have gangs in this country. If we don't get them to join our gang, I can assure you that there are a number of other gangs that will very readily accept them. And so to achieve this, we have reinvigorated and in some cases implemented a range of programs and initiatives to empower our young people, providing them with the tools and support they need to make positive life choices. These initiatives include, but are not limited to, the program called Students Together Against Negative Decisions, STAND, the Berry Island Community Plan, Law Enforcement Empowerment and Preparedness Program, and Urban Renewal 2.0.
The National Security Minister also touched on addressing the trial process in our judicial system.
I believe one of the recent persons murdered was on bail for 6 murders, which would stand testament that for 6 murders, none of them have come to trial. And so we have to address the trial process. And we recognize that a fair, efficient judicial system is essential to maintaining public trust in our institutions. And as such, we're in the process of setting up a task force to address delay reductions.
But in the meantime, he's hopeful a more efficient and effective justice system will be created, leading to the public having that much more confidence in it. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm LaDon Davis.
Well, turning now to news from the courts, a man convicted of murdering a pregnant school teacher back in December 2016 has lost his bid to have his conviction and sentence overturned. Alistair Williams is serving a hefty sentence of 55 years behind bars for killing Marina Brown. He had hoped the sentence would be overturned. However, the Court of Appeal panel found that there was no lurking doubt as to the safety of the verdict after DNA samples from the crime scene were matched to Williams. They then upheld his conviction and sentence. Police sounding a warning about romance or marriage schemes used to snare unsuspecting victims in order to solicit money. Director of the Financial Crimes Investigation Branch, ASP Anthony McCartney, is stressing that while this scheme is not new, people are still falling victims. It involves developing relationships online, usually with someone from another country.
The course of their relationship, that person may be invited here to the country, and in all instances we find that when those persons are saying that they are coming here to meet those persons, they are stopped, they have some tragic situation, and then they ask you, the victim, to send them money to try and rescue them.
Now, ASP McCartney issued this piece of advice on how not to become a victim.
We will ask persons to do their due diligence. 9 out of 10 times, these are persons that they have never met, never even seen via the internet. You know, we could also use technology, do a video call, what the person looks like. In our interview with persons, we find that persons cannot say or describe how these persons look, you know. And so we're just asking members of the public to be very careful and guard themselves.
New proposed bail requirements for Sam Bankman-Fried. Reuters reporting that a judge's decision to up the prospect of sending the disgraced cryptocurrency wonderkind to jail ahead of trial, prompting his attorneys to take swift action. Now, under the new requirements, Bankman-Fried would have a new phone with no internet capability, restricting him then to just text messages and voice calls. This along with a basic laptop with limited functions. According to Reuters, the laptop will have monitoring software to track activity. Furthermore, SBF won't have administrative access to prevent tampering. And this all stemming from the prosecution's argument that in January, Bankman-Fried tried to contact current execs of the now bankrupt FTX. However, SBF's attorneys contend that he was trying to help, not interfere. Now, we also understand the former billionaire's parents have agreed to restrict his access to their devices, signing sworn affidavits to not bring prohibited electronic devices into their home. U.S. District Judge Lewis Kaplan would have to approve the new terms before they take effect. As widely reported, SBF was extradited from the Bahamas back in December. He subsequently appeared in a U.S. court and released on $250 million bond that restricted him to his parents' California home. The 31-year-old stands accused of stealing billions of dollars in FTX customer funds. His trial is set for October 2nd. Issues of mutual concerns discussed during a recent meeting between Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis and Philippine Ambassador to the United States, Jose Manuel Romualdez. During those talks, the ambassador spoke of plans to enter into a labor agreement with the Bahamas to promote the welfare and protect Filipino workers here. There are about 2,000 Filipinos in the Bahamas working in various industries. A possible government-to-government memorandum of understanding would institutionalize the recruitment of Filipinos through a bilateral labor cooperation framework. Now, the two men also tackle safety and security in international shipping, protection of the marine environment, enhanced trade and investment between the Philippines and the Bahamas. In 2021, Philippine trade with the Bahamas reached nearly 450,000, according to the embassy. Well, here's a feel-good story for you, one involving a single mother who shares her testimony of help and hope with our Carla Palmer.
The saying, old things bring new things, is a wish 25-year-old Janika Colley is praying comes true as she stands and stares at the demolition of a home that was destroyed by fire last Friday.
When my daddy leave me and my daughter in there.
Having lived in the homestead, located Lewis Street off Alexandria Boulevard, Nassau Village all her life, understandably, she's still in shock.
I just leave from here to get my baby with my mommy. And I get the call, my house burning down, and everything gone, everything. Documents, everything closed, gone. I just thank God it wasn't in the house. Me and my baby wasn't in there.
As the house is being crushed and the area cleared of all debris, Colley is not standing alone. She's being supported by her Member of Parliament, Jamal Strawn, who's facilitating the demolition.
One of the most difficult things is rebounding after that, the cleanup effort, so that when philanthropists and general do-gooders do come in, they're able to just get to work. So my effort today is simply to return her or put her in a state of readiness so that when that philanthropy does come through, she's prepared to receive it.
This is a big help. This means a lot to me. He helped me a lot. For the past couple of days, he helped me a lot. People reach out to me, people call me, people was checking just because of him. Yeah. He posted on Facebook and it went viral and people reach out to me and they call me, and this a big help to me because I didn't know where to start.
It's anticipated that by day's end, this entire area will be cleared. And so the appeal is now going out to you, members of the public, for any assistance in rebuilding. In Nassau Village, I'm Carla Palmer for the Bahamas Tonight.
Well, great story there, Carla. Now time for the weekly poll question. And this week, as a reminder, we're asking, should there be a margin increase for gas station operators? Yes or no? To participate, simply log on to our website, www.znesbahamas.com, as well as any of our social media platforms. To answer, the poll's final results will be aired on Friday. And as always, thanks for participating. The National Report returns in a moment. Stay with us.
Tourism today, Bahamas tourism.
Firstly, it's a great pleasure to represent our country at SeaTrade. This is the premier event for the cruise industry. This is the place where we get to meet and talk with the executives of all of our cruise partners. We've been in the cruise business for more than 50 years. So what Parliamentary Secretary John Pinder is determined to do is to create multi-destination cruise travel within the Bahamas. We're talking really about the future of cruising. The Bahamas has been instrumental in terms of reopening the cruise industry after COVID. We harbored many ships in our waters during the COVID period. We have a very strong ship registry for cruise lines and other vessels. So we're partnering this week with Bahamas Maritime Authority as well, working closely with them to create synergies. We attracted roughly 5.4 million visitors in cruise alone during 2019 as well as 2022. So we have hit our 2019 record-setting levels of 5.4 million cruise visitors, and we expect this year to beat that by at least 20%. Bahamas Night was an opportunity for us really to showcase the Bahamas on our 50th anniversary. 50th anniversary of independence and more than 5 decades of cruising. This is an important destination for all of our cruise partners. It's important that everywhere we go, we share a piece of the Bahamas. So last night we invited 800 of our closest friends to the beach. We put on a great reception. We had an opportunity to showcase Lassie Doe and the boys. We had Junkanoo, we had some Bahamian dancers. This was simply a phenomenal opportunity to showcase much of what we have to see, do, and to offer.
April's forecast calls for great savings all month at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Devon corned beef, 12 ounce, $2.69. Muller's ready cut macaroni, 16 ounce, $2.29. First choice sugar, 4 pounds, 2 for $5. Turkey wings, $1.99 per pound. Fresh lemons, 3 for $1.49. Donate your change to help feed the Humane Society animals only at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A brand that you can trust. Family Guardian.
Sometimes life hints at your next step, sending you signs all around, even in unexpected places, to lead you in the right direction. The signs are clear. It's time to pay less for your current mortgage and switch to Scotiabank. Enjoy lower interest rates and no payments up to 2 months when you switch your mortgage to Scotiabank. Plus, we'll even pay your switch costs. Paying less gives you more when you switch to Scotiabank.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Adjudicators for the Ed Bethel National Arts Festival have wrapped up here in the capital, but have now made their presence felt in the southern Bahamas. But just how well did students in the arts perform? Well, LaDon Davis caught up with one of them to find out.
Oh, that one man, scorned and covered with scars.
Macushla 10th grade student here at the R.M. Bailey Senior High School, Chauncey Wright, scored a 98 on his first solo and a 95 on his second at the Ed Bethel National Arts Festival. These are scores Chauncey says he's extremely proud of.
This is actually my third time participating, and to get those high scores, it felt really great to just go on stage and to show the judges and everyone else my abilities and what I can do. Well, my first song was The Impossible Dream by Luther Vandross, and I also participated in the gospel solo section. The song was You Are a Good, Good Father by Chris Tomlin. The Impossible Dream, that song has been with me all my life. It literally follows me everywhere. And it holds a meaning to me. And so when we was choosing our solos and what we would sing, I was like, that's a perfect song because that's basically what I'm doing now. So I'm going towards that goal. I'm going towards what I want to achieve in life, and that's to become a musician.
Music instructor Brene Clark says she's proud of Chauncey's big accomplishment.
Chauncey is one student I can say that works very, very, very hard. He takes criticism well, he takes critiques well, and he applies them and makes his performance even better. And so I was sitting there like a proud mother, sitting there watching him on stage, and it's definitely my prayer that he continues on with this journey that he's already started.
Now, after graduating from R.M. Bailey, Chauncey says he plans to pursue a degree in music at the University of the Bahamas. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm LaDon Davis.
The life and legacy of the country's first former prime minister remembered during a special event at the Bahama Convention Center. Desmond Saunders has that story.
An historic moment of speeches, dialogue, and reflection as scores packed the Bahama Convention Center for the Lynden Pindling Masterclass Series. The event, moderated by former media personalities Dr. Deborah Bartlett and Minister of Social Services and Urban Development, the Honorable Obi Wilscombe, organized by the Bahamas National Independence Secretariat as part of activities commemorating the nation's 50th independence celebrations. Key national figures, pioneers, freedom fighters, and those in the vanguard of the country's national development, remembering the work of the country's first prime minister.
He was vastly experienced. He was also joined by colleagues who were diversely and vastly experienced.
And so when he became prime minister in 1973, I believe his age provided him with the depth of energy, enthusiasm, and initiative.
So Lynden's family, his wife, former Governor General Dame Marguerite Pindling, daughter Monique, and sons Leslie and Obi took center stage, reliving key moments of their father at home, also recapturing his role as chief architect, statesman, builder, leader, and father of the modern Bahamas.
Lynden loved his Bahamas and he loved his people, and he always tried to make people feel as if they are somebody. He always tried to give people hope and make people feel good about themselves.
Very easygoing, but very stern. He gave you chances until you messed up, and then he became a very stern person. Allowed you to do and go wherever you wanted to, but you always had to follow the rules.
We did ordinary things. We played, we hung out, roller skates, chopper bicycles. Obi was always playing music in the house, so we would join him, and I learned how to play the bass guitar. Leslie was playing the drums. So there was always a mini kind of band going on inside the house somewhere.
He used to tell us, because he is prime minister, he don't want us to expect no special treatment from nobody. You always be respectful to people. You always, yes, sir, no, ma'am. Wherever you go, if there's a line, you stand in the line.
And you ain't no different than everybody else.
So Lynden Pindling led the Bahamas to independence during his 25-year reign as Prime Minister. He became Premier in 1967, ending more than 300 years of oligarchic rule. Pindling's policies helped to create a large black middle class with the broadening of educational opportunities for all Bahamians. His leadership contributed to the growth of the nation's #1 industry, tourism, and improved the country's social and physical infrastructure. His legacy continues. Desmond Saunders, The Bahamas Tonight.
Well, on another note, the country mourns the loss of its first female director of education, Marjorie Davis, who died last night. She was 94. Davis rose to the rank of Director of Education before retiring in 1988. She was also a charter member of the Zonta Club of Nassau and was also involved in after-school programs at the Ranfley Home for Children, the PACE program for unwed mothers, as well as health and HIV/AIDS projects. A final memorial at Christ Church Cathedral for former broadcaster and diplomat Eldred Edison Ed Bethel. The service drawing members of the Journalism and Diplomatic Corps, Parliament, and former Prime Ministers. We hear more in this report from our Fern Carey.
Family members, former colleagues, and friends paying tribute to iconic broadcaster and former diplomat, the late Eldred Ed Bethel, during his memorial service at Christ Church Cathedral Wednesday, painted a picture of a man whose dedication to his craft in the broadcast arena and selfless service to the country while serving in the diplomatic corps will impact generations.
There was a saying we have in the Bahamas about letting appointments go to one's head. H.C. Bethel never did. He was not boastful. He was humble, and he was thankful to be of service to our country as Consul General and later as High Commissioner.
In London, which has the largest diplomatic corps in the world, he made the Bahamas stand out. During his tenure, we became a leading voice, especially among Caribbean and Commonwealth partners.
To express our profound prayer and condolences. He has been a faithful person, a noble citizen of our country, a dynamic leader of our lunch bunch. He shall be missed.
Truth is Ed Bethel was a nation builder. He helped build this country, and broadcasting played a significant role in every phase of our development in the road to 50.
I first had the privilege of meeting Ed Bethel at the 1960 Olympic Games in Mexico City, where he was the reporter for ZNS covering us live on national television for the first time. I was a quarter miler then, small pot cake, around a time of 46.8, and he was so happy that I had run such this great time and break the Bahamian record. And I was so mad because I didn't get to the second round, you know, and that's how our friendship was formed. He was a broadcaster. He was a voice. And he began the process of doing something that is so vitally necessary in an island nation. Being able to lay the basis of people understanding and feeling that they are a part of nation building.
Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis reminisced that Bethel was one of those personalities and individuals whose efforts and sacrifices helped to lift the country to where it is now as the Bahamas prepares to celebrate its Golden Jubilee.
In this pantheon of nation builders, the life and contribution of Ed Bethel stands tall. I am happy that during the course of his life, his works and achievements were already being recognized. Too often, we leave these things until after our heroes are no longer with us. Since his passing, many others here in the Bahamas and around the world have paid added tribute to Ed's exceptional qualities as a journalist, broadcaster, diplomat, a colleague, a friend, and family member. I heartily add my voice to this chorus of acclaim.
Dean of Christ Church Cathedral, Canon Harry Bain, told mourners that, like Bethel, everyone can make a difference in the life of the nation.
Everyone who leaves this world leaves behind a message. Now, here is a part of what he left behind. As people call to a saint, to be saints, let your light shine. Do you represent this nation abroad? Let your light shine. Are you in business? Let your light shine. Are you in politics? Let your light shine. Are you a parent? Let your light shine. Are you an educator? Let your light shine.
Ed Bethel's cremated remains will rest at Christ Church Cathedral. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Fern Carey.
What if I told you that the future is here? That is not some magical door we walk through, but a place we create. It's home. The place where you can download a 2-hour movie in seconds and stay connected to loved ones even when traveling far from home. The fastest, most secure, and reliable way to stream the internet, so you can do what you want, whenever you want. Where internet moves at lightning speeds, smoother and more reliable than anything you've ever seen. This future-proof technology can take you to worlds that you can only imagine. That's the power of Alive Fiber. The future is here. The future is home. The future is Alive Fiber.
Have you been denied a U.S. visa and don't understand why? Have you been turned away from the U.S. border without an explanation? Maybe you've had a prior arrest or conviction and you're not clear on how to move forward at this point. Call our office. We may be able to help. 954-449-1833.
The alleged drowning of a 51-year-old South Korean man, the focus of an investigation over in Bimini. Police alerted to the incident shortly after 1 this afternoon. Preliminary reports are that the victim, a cruise ship passenger, was found unresponsive on Lighthouse Beach, Ocean Key, after being retrieved from waters by bystanders. The man was taken back to the ship, where he was seen and examined by a doctor who found he had no vital signs of life. The matter is under active investigation. The same to be said in the case of an unlicensed firearm confiscated on Bimini yesterday. Acting on a tip, officers of the Drug Enforcement Unit searched bushes on Queens Highway in Allenstown. It's at that location that they seized a white towel containing a silver and black .38 revolver. No one was arrested. Well, it's now time for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makisha. Partly cloudy skies again this evening. Temperature at 82 degrees. The relative humidity 72%. We have north-northwest winds at 10 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,017.0 millibars. That is 30.03 inches, and the pressure is rising. Temperatures around the Family of Islands this evening. They are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We protected you. 81 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama. Green till Key Marsh, Ababaco. A little cooler at 77 degrees with some cloud cover there. 81 degrees in the Berry Islands, Alistown, Bimini at 80, 81 in Harbor Island. Rockstown, Eleuthera, 80 degrees, Black Point, Exuma, Kemp Space at Andros, and Fresh Creek in Central Andros at 79 degrees. Otterstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, Rum Key, and Georgetown, Exuma, all at 80 degrees. 80s again in Ragged Island, Clarence, Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay McGuana, 81, Ackless, 81. Also, Matthew Tiny and Agua in the Turks and Caicos Islands reporting 81 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Setter. In the northwestern islands tonight, north to northeast winds, speeds around 10 to 15 knots, the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. Your low tide, that will occur at 9 or 2 tonight. For the central and southeastern islands, light and variable winds with flat seas, 1 to 3 feet over the ocean. Now, tomorrow, which is Thursday, in the northwest and central parts of our country, the winds will increase out of the northeast at 12 to 18 knots. The wave heights building 3 to 6 feet over the ocean. That means we will post caution flags tomorrow for boaters in the northwest and central Bahamas. Low tide tomorrow, 10:13 in the morning with the high tide at 4:01 in the afternoon. Now for the southeast Bahamas tomorrow, winds also northeast at 10 to 15 knots and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. And then come Friday in the northwestern islands, the winds become easterly, 15 to 20 knots, wave heights increasing again 4 to 7 feet over the ocean. So cautious flags in place for the northwest Bahamas on Friday. The low tide will take place at 11:08 in the morning with the high tide at 5 in the afternoon. For the central and southeastern islands on Friday, easterly winds 15 to 25 knots. Very rough sea conditions. Advisories will be in place for boaters in the central and southeastern islands on Friday. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. Going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned. Your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Get cash back from the Water and Sewage Corporation. Receive $10 off your bill when you complete our online survey.
We want to hear from you. Help us serve you better.
Visit www.wsc.com.bs to complete our survey and receive $10 off your next bill.
It's fast, easy, and rewarding.
The Water and Sewage Corporation. Committed to growth, committed to quality.
On March 31st, Phil Stubbs at the Farm. Tickets on sale now. $50 general admission, $75 VIP, $150 for the Skybox party. For Skybox rates, call 525-4180. Get your tickets online at BahamasEtickets.com. The Beauty Shack, Proud Mary, or any Flying Dutchman location. Joining Phil on stage, Veronica Bishop, Ancient Man, Mr. Anderson, Phil Stubbs, live in concert. Friday, March 31st at the Farm, Marshall Road.
Bahamians are rediscovering Grand Bahama through immersive staycation experiences at Lighthouse Point Grand Lucayan. Pamper yourself at our Senses Spa or savor exotic cocktails by the sea. Unwind and enjoy serenity, 18 holes of golf, fine dining, romance, business conventions and meetings, grand outdoor events. For Bahamas resident rates at Lighthouse Point, call 242-373-1333 or WhatsApp message 827-8195.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to your Wednesday Sports, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles. Topping sports news, it was a night of milestones for Bahamian NBA player Kai Jones as his Charlotte Hornets took on the Oklahoma City Thunder last night. Jones appearing in 22 minutes would post a career-high 12 points to go along with 14 rebounds. He would also go 5 for 5 from the field. Jones would notch his first double-double and easily the best game of his career. The Hornets would also pick up the victory 137 to 134. Jones, who has seen an uptick in minutes due to the injury to Mark Williams, is hoping to continue his hot play against the Chicago Bulls on Friday. In track and field news, Bahamian sprinter Anthony Strawn opened her 2023 outdoor season with a bang, clocking a blistering 11.02 seconds to win the 100-meter race at the MVP Velocity Fest at the National Stadium in Kingston, Jamaica this weekend. After clocking 11.42 seconds in the prelims, Strawn returned later that day and clocked the winning time to post the second fastest time in the world so far this season. Only New Zealand's Zoe Hobbs has a faster time of 10.97 seconds that she ran back on March 11th. Strawn had another fast season opener last year. She opened the 2022 outdoor season at the same location, clocking 10.99 seconds at the John Walmer Speed Fest. This as she's gearing up for the 2023 World Athletics Championships set for August in Budapest, Hungary. And from a chance encounter with the GOAT at a local golf tournament as a kid to now being a Jordan Brand athlete, life has officially become full circle for Bahamian baseball superstar Jazz Chisholm. As it was officially revealed via social media earlier today, Chisholm would become the 5th MLB player to be signed to the historic brand. Jazz also receiving some very high praise from ESPN as the MLB season is set to kick off on Thursday. Chisholm sits at number 60 on ESPN's top 100 list. The Miami Marlins second baseman turned center fielder has been making an impression in his short time in the league. He was the first Bahamian to be selected to an all-star team in the MLB and the 5th player in Marlins history to be voted in as a starter. In softball news, a group of local softball enthusiasts coming together to put on a tournament on the island of Exuma. The Greg Gardner Fast Pitch Softball Invitational, scheduled for April 6th through the 9th. The Friends for Life group, which consists of several former Bahamas Softball Federation executives, hope that the event will be well attended and supported.
We wish to speak about the giant of a man, Mr. Greg Gardner, who's a pioneer in the softball arena and was responsible for taking softball in Exuma to the next level for many years. His dedication to the growth of softball to the country is paramount, and we and Friends for Life just see it fitting that we recognize the son of the soil. Therefore, we are appealing to fans throughout Exuma and throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas to come and watch some good, wholesome softball down in Exuma.
In soccer news, the Bahamas senior men's national team was down 1-0 in the second half on the road against St. Vincent and the Grenadines and found the willpower to pull off an equalizer. They would get that from team captain Marcel Joseph in the 70th minute as the game would end in a 1-1 draw. The tie means that the Bahamas finished 3rd in League B Group C in the CONCACAF Nations League. They finished with 4 points with a 1-4-1 win-loss draw record in the group. St. Vincent and the Grenadines went winless, finishing with an 0-4-2 record with 2 points. And that's been a look at your sports on this Wednesday. A check on weather when we return.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Sometimes life hints at your next step, sending you signs all around, even in unexpected places, to lead you in the right direction. The signs are clear. It's time to pay less for your current mortgage and switch to Scotiabank. Enjoy lower interest rates and no payments up to 2 months when you switch your mortgage to Scotiabank. Plus, we'll even pay your switch costs. Paying less gives you more when you switch to Scotiabank.
This April, it's raining specials at your favorite Super Value and Quality Supermarkets location. Kraft Macaroni and Cheese, 7 1/4 ounce, 99 cents. Country Barn Mayonnaise, 30 ounce, $3.75. Coca-Cola sodas, 6-pack, 12 ounce, $3.69. Family pack cut up chicken, 16-piece, $1.49 per pound. Romaine hearts, 3-pack, $4.99. Donate your change to help feed the Humane Society animals only at Super Value and quality supermarkets.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, we had a weak pre-frontal trough pass through the northwest Bahamas. As a matter of fact, through the capital this afternoon with very little fanfare. It will increase the cloud conditions overnight. The front itself is still over Florida, and that will be sinking southward into our area tomorrow. So we'll see an increase in clouds and shower activity tomorrow, and even some possible thunderstorms taking place tomorrow as the front pushes through. Forecast for tonight, partly cloudy, still on the warm side despite that frontal system approaching, 75 degrees for your low temperature. And tomorrow, we're looking at partly sunny, a bit on the breezy side, that those winds will be increasing. And as we said already, you can anticipate a couple of showers and thunderstorms developing along that frontal boundary. The high temperature tomorrow getting up to 80 degrees, and your extended weather forecast looking like this. Showers and thunderstorms in the forecast tomorrow. Things are going to improve quite nicely as we head into Friday, but as we told you all week long, there's not going to be much change in terms of our temperatures. Despite that front going through, temperatures will remain in the low 70s during the nighttime, and those daytime temperatures in the low 80s. Makishla.
Basil, well, staff here at the Broadcasting Corporation giving administrators, parents, and students of the R.N. Gomez Comprehensive School in the Berry Islands a lesson in broadcasting. The group this afternoon toured ZNS's Rusty Bethel Drive headquarters to see firsthand how the national news is produced and all the work behind the scenes. Principal Sharon North says the youngsters were amazed.
The purpose of our trip was to enhance our social studies curriculum for our children in grades 3 through 6. And so ZNS, of course, being the major communication and media in our country, it's very important that our children understand. We see it from afar, but they need to know how we are majorly presented to the world. So it's important that they get to see in person the faces that they see on the screen all the time. Well, I'm glad the students are able to see and to learn about the process. And so we're just glad to be here. And of course, it's been a wonderful experience and very significant, not just for the students, but for the teachers and our wonderful parents as well.
Well, that there does it for the Bahamas Tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.